Now, as we become more practiced, and our meditation becomes deeper, and our mind becomes more concentrated, the distractions will start to become more subtle, and also will become so attentive that we're now experiencing the breath movement and the vibration and the actual sound of Om in a much more subtle and refined way. It'll even become faint. We'll now no longer be able to actually feel movement of the breath, because the breath is now becoming so slight and slowed down. It is becoming attenuated. At the same time, the mantra sound of Om is becoming slight and attenuated and so refined and faint. We're just sitting now in the manifestation of the two. Now we're starting to experience the third aspect of our concentration within meditation. This is what the mantra is producing. The sacred syllable Om is the manifestation of God. The name of God and God are one. So now as the breath awareness becomes slight, and the sound of the mantra, even though we're trying to hold on to it, is becoming very slight and attenuated. As they become refined and slight, a growing feeling of this presence that they are invoking starts to fill our mind. We should be aware of that also. As Adi Shankaracharya said, as the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali also say, and some of the more obscure but very profound Nikaya Buddhist polycanons say, we should be aware of this rapturous presence, still holding on to the movement of the breath, the sound of the mantra, mentally intoning in a unison. As our breath moves in, we're unifying the sound of Om mentally with the inhalation. And as the exhalation occurs, we're saying Om again. Again in unison. The end of one intonation of Om should end with the end of an inhalation and start up with the exhalation. As we exhale, the end of our exhalation, when it ends and we begin inhaling, that Om should end and another Om should begin. This should be, in a sense, like singing. It's melodious. We're not going Om, Om. This should be, as it says in the scripture, like oil flowing from one vessel to another, like the sound of a bell. We never really have a place of silence, as even if we have a slight pause of the inhalation and exhalation, the Om should end and be taken back up as oil flowing from one vessel to the next. So, as we breathe, we hear the sound of the mantra Om, or our chosen mantra, within our mind, and now we'll start to understand and feel that our concentration in time and with practice will start to shift from the head to the heart. Because what this practice will do, it will remove the intellectual process and get it calm and tranquil and still, and start to expand the intuitive mind. The intuitive mind, which is the manifestation of divine and spiritual nature, resides in the heart. But again, as feelings come, and even if they're rapturous feelings, feelings of light, the heavenly sounds, even visions, consider those also distractions, and pull your awareness now back to the movement of the breath, the sound of the mantra, and this feeling, this growing feeling of the presence of God. This now has become a practice of the presence of God. And we're sitting with it. As thoughts and inner sensations arise during meditation, we should be calmly aware of these things, but in a detached and objective manner. We keep our attention centered on only three things: the movement of the breath, the mental intonation of Om or the mantra used, and a growing awareness of the presence of divinity within, which is being invoked by the sacred name of God. Even if we experience states of bliss and we gain perception of heavenly sights and sounds, we should let them go. Even the great Buddhist Ajahn Chah of the Thai forest tradition said, even of these things we let them go. We want complete peace. If we let all of our mental distractions and even our heavenly perceptions go a little, we get a little peace. If we let them go a lot, we get a lot of peace. But if we let them go completely, we get complete peace. This complete peace, this still small voice which is spoken of in the Bible, this feeling of concentrated serenity, complete absorption in the presence of divinity is the goal. So now we can see that the practice of meditation in the beginning empties the mind of extraneous thoughts, and then as that becomes concentrated and calm, what grows in its place is this unfolding and manifestation of our divine nature, which already is within, but we're invoking it to manifest more fully through unification with our mind and heart and the Spirit of God. In other words, you can see we're coming from the mind to the heart, where the Spirit resides, staying focused and concentrated. We start to experience that growth. Though relaxed and calm, we should remain fully aware. This is right awareness. This is an absorbed state of equanimity and a blissful calm. And while we remain in this state of acute and focused concentration, we find that we, in an intuitive way, become completely reflective. We are aware. We are awake. And in this state of awakening, then we can reflect upon the nature that is now divine and manifesting in our mind and heart. And now we can enter into what's called vichara, or reflection upon the nature of the self. Because remember, we're after acute concentration. Why? Because if it was just a blissful state that we'd be trying to achieve, where there are so many goals, you can take herbs, drugs, even certain types of mental techniques, we can just get the mind quiet. Even Sri Ramana Maharshi, when he was asked, what is liberation? As the Buddha was asked, what is this awareness to this completion? The Maharshi said what was quoted in the Bible: be still and then know your God. So we've stilled the mental functioning, and in doing that, naturally the self started to unfold of its own nature. We're shifting down, as also the Maharshi said, from the head to the heart by simply watching the breath, mentally intoning the mantra, and becoming so acutely aware that this reflection, we start to, in a sense, experience God in all depths of manifestation.